Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me. tmosso@thewatchbox.com is still my address. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any of our platforms. Please reach out to me directly. I am tmosso@thewatchbox.com for pricing. Today we're discussing a watch that was new for 2021. This is the Omega Speedmaster Professional Moonwatch in full Sedna gold. The watch, 42 millimeters in diameter, is a next generation Moonwatch featuring the caliber 3861 and an immense amount of Omega Sedna gold in a sapphire sandwich top and back combination. Now the watch still draws its running gear from the movements that are certified for flight by NASA, and the 3861 will be seeing more and more service as the older 1861s retire. So you are literally wearing something with a piece of modern space allure inside it. It's beating hard. 42 millimeters in diameter, 13.5 millimeters thick, and as we have pivoted end links, the lug-to-lug dimension is the total distance across the wrist at 47.5 millimeters with a 20 millimeter spacing between the lugs. We'll throw this watch on my wrist, which is 16 centimeters in circumference. You can see the watch wears well. Now, 42 millimeters must have seemed huge when this watch debuted back in the 60s. Today, it seems like a good size for a men's complication. Now, the watch isn't as thick as some moon watches have been. At 13.5 millimeters, it actually will fit underneath a lot of cuffs. The only challenge is that little bit of an outcropping to the bezel, but all jacket sleeves should easily fold over its side. Now, taking a look down the barrel, you can see it's actually quite a bit inboard of the edge of my wrist. Being less than 48 millimeters lug-to-lug, and you can see over the top an angle that often exaggerates the width of a watch. It's still inboard of the edge of my wrist. So I believe you could wear this watch on a wrist as small as 14 centimeters circumference. The watch includes a bracelet that's designed to evoke 1960s Omega factory bracelets. So we have that pivoted end link. We have small link cross sections with an oval profile and polished outer faces. We have removable links fixed by screws because this is a modern bracelet after all, not a vintage one. It's a vintage one in appearance, but not in construction. And it has all solid links as a result, very robust. Now you can see that there is a pronounced taper down from the conforming end link, which mates the bracelet to the case without any gaps. We have many individual removable links, so you're going to get a good fit. And then you can see internally there's actually two sets of divots drilled into the flank of the clasp, and you can use your strap tool to change the anchoring point inside the clasp to fine-tune the fit. So that's another way to adjust the fit. Externally, we have a striation pattern on the clasp, two polished oval triggers. You have to press both of them to open the clasp, and you can see a really thick gauge Sedna red gold single swing arm deployant action right there with a little polished highlight bevel on the flank. Now, Sedna gold is basically Omega's answer to Rolex Everose, Panerai Oro Rosso, Hublot's King Gold. It has more copper that makes it truly red. It also has a lot of platinum family metals like platinum and rhodium and palladium, which are designed to prevent it from fading and turning from red to rose and rose to pink gold over time. So that's why you have that. Now, the watch is designed to have a vintage look, which is why the bezel is actually anodized aluminum. So it could have been ceramic, but they wanted a little bit more of a vintage look. That's the same reason the sapphire has a bubble-like profile with a dramatic box section and camber designed to evoke a vintage plexiglass or a modern Hesalite crystal. But because this is a luxury model, the crystal is sapphire, and it's sapphire on both sides. That's why I called this a sapphire sandwich. Also, speaking to its luxury positioning, you can see the dial is all applied rose gold indices instead of printed indices. We'll do a quick lume shot so you can get a sense of the luminescence. You can see the chronograph seconds hand is lumed. The watch has a 50-meter water resistance, which means I recommend that you not expose it to any more water than you would encounter washing your hands or getting caught out in the rain. Now on the case back, let's see if we can get a little bit closer to my light here. The movement is the 3861. It's the next generation Lemania-based Moonwatch caliber, so still distantly based on the Lemania 1873. It's been modified a whole lot from the Lemania and even from the display case back 1863, which came before. First, what hasn't changed? It's still manual wind, and it is still a combination of a cam function cycler with a lateral clutch coupling. So that hasn't changed. What has changed is you get 2 extra hours of manual wind power reserve, now 50. 18 joules becomes 26 joules. conventional mobile stud index becomes a free-sprung regulator on the balance, with all the adjustments done using variable inertia bolts on the balance itself. A ferrous hairspring is replaced by an anti-magnetic silicon hairspring. And then we replace the previous Swiss lever escapement with a coaxial escapement, which is a double impulse direct and indirect impulse system invented by George Daniels and serialized by Omega. It's very efficient, improving power reserve, chronometry, and reducing maintenance needs. And of course, it is also a master chronometer, which means it's been through tests of chronometry to and beyond the ISO 3159 that regulates COSC chronometers. It's been tested cased up in 6 positions. It's been tested for water resistance, power reserve, durability, and anti-magnetism at over 15,000 Gauss, effectively rendering this watch amagnetic. It also features stop seconds, or hacking, a function previously not available on Moonwatch movements. You can see we have a combination of rhodium-plated brass bridges and plates with satinated and beveled steel components and stripes across the brass components, with engine turning on the base plate and all screws polished on their heads with satination on the wheels. It is a good-looking movement, and the cam action, courtesy of the might of Swatch's industrial base, LaMagna and Omega have created a cam system that feels and sounds as crisp as a column wheel. Cams are not inherently inferior. If you know what you're doing, they can be just as crisp to the touch as a column wheel, and this one is. If you love this watch, email me. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.